Welcome back everybody, my name is Tucker and I've actually already recorded a video today, so if you see me wearing the exact same thing in an upcoming video, then that would be the reason why. But as a lot of you know, last night, at least by the time you're hearing this, it's last night, there was some big news in the college basketball and by extension, NBA world, and that Zion Williamson tore through his shoe on a play against UNC and actually ended up hurting his knee in the process. Now as of this video, the severity of the injury is not known, but he did not return to the game against UNC, but this event and this incident has brought up a lot of questions about not only Zion Williamson himself, but also the NCAA college basketball NBA relationship as a whole. Because leading up to this game, the conversation for the most part was centered around the fact that ticket prices were soaring for this particular Duke-UNC game. This is obviously a big rivalry game. It's a game that's always going to demand a high ticket price, but things were expanding well beyond levels that we've seen in previous years, primarily because of Zion Williamson and the hype that he brings along obviously with the fact that this is a huge rivalry game. And as always, when this kind of conversation comes up about the NCAA and how much value these college athletes provide compared to what they're actually receiving in terms of compensation, the conversation comes up about these players potentially being paid. And then obviously in this case specifically, Zion Williamson is providing a tremendous amount of value to Duke, well beyond the scholarship and other benefits that he's receiving from the school. But that's not really the conversation that I want to have in this video. More so I want to talk about what people were discussing after this incident, after the game, and primarily that's why is Zion Williamson even in college? Why is he being forced to play for Duke or any other collegiate team before he enters the NBA? This guy is probably more so than any prospect we've seen in the last 5, 6, 7, 8 years, probably since Anthony Davis. He's the most NBA-ready prospect that we've seen, again, probably since AD. So why isn't he on an NBA team right now? You can't argue the fact that he would be a positive contributor on an NBA team right now, because in a couple of months, he's expected to be one, and he's more than likely going to be drafted first overall. So how would those couple of months span, in this case 6 or 7 months of being at Duke, supposed to be this grand improvement for him from a player that was an NBA caliber to one that's now suddenly going to be one? It doesn't make any sense. There's no reason for him to still be at Duke or any other college. And as a result of this injury, that conversation is once again coming up because he never even should have been on the floor. He never should have even been playing in the NCAA ranks. He should be in the NBA right now. And there's no reason that this one and done rule should even exist, whether it be playing overseas, playing in the G League, playing in college for a year before being draft eligible. It's stupid, it's outdated, and there's no reason for it to exist. And it's not just the money part, it's not just the fact that he's not being compensated. There are plenty of other athletes at the collegiate ranks that are providing an incredible amount of value to their school that is certainly outweighing whatever benefits they're receiving. But it's also just the fact that there's no need for this guy to risk being in the college ranks and risking an injury and risking a gigantic paycheck. This guy right now, if there was no NCAA system, if there was no salary cap, there was no rookie wage scale, there was no NBA draft, there was no any of that, NBA teams could just sign outright whoever they wanted to. This guy is probably right now one of the 30 or 40 top most valuable basketball players on the planet, and he's playing in what the NCAA likes to call an amateur league, essentially for free. Now, I understand that he is obviously getting benefits, scholarships, meal plan, training, all that stuff, but it just doesn't make any sense to have someone that is this good at basketball not playing at the highest level and not playing for a paycheck, because this is apparently going to be, at least in my estimation, as well as most other people that watch the game and watch the injury, it's not going to be an incredibly severe injury. He probably just sprained his knee. But what if a player of his caliber in this draft class or any other draft class went to college, they were supposed to be a top 5 pick, they were going to be making millions of dollars after they finished their 1 year in college, and then they just absolutely had some catastrophic injury that caused them to drop down a ton of spots. Now I understand that there are insurance injury policies that people can take out in those dire kind of circumstances, and maybe Zion Williamson has one of those, but why should that even be a thing? Why can this guy just not be in the NBA right now? He is worth being paid millions and millions of dollars to be on an NBA team right now. And the only reason that's not happening is because of a stupid system that's preventing him from being on an NBA team so that the NCAA can make money and profit off of amateur athletes. And if you don't agree with me on his value, you don't think that he could be on an NBA team right now or be making a ton of money, my counter argument to that is there's literally no reason for Zion Williamson to ever step on a college basketball court again for the rest of the season in terms of his own personal objectives. Obviously, as a team, Duke basketball has huge goals this season, and him coming back would help them achieve those, and those may be his own personal goals as well by extension. But in terms of his improvement, him moving forward as a basketball player and his future, there's no reason for him to be on the team. He is going to be the first overall pick in the NBA draft. It's like a 95% chance that he's going to be selected first overall, and he has proven all the skills necessary to be worthy of being drafted that high. As a passer, his athleticism, his versatility, defensively and offensively. The only real question mark, the only thing that he does not do at an above average or elite level is shoot the basketball. Everything else he has proven beyond a shadow of a doubt that he is one of the most elite NBA prospects to come into the league in, like I said, the last 7 or 8 years. And as a result of that, like I said, there's no reason for him to come back. So why is he even there in the first place? If this is something that can actually happen, very similar to when Kyrie Irving was at Duke, he only played 10, 11, 12 games or so, hurt his toe or his ankle or something, and didn't play the rest of the year, and that was all that he needed to do to show teams he was worthy of being the first overall pick. Zion Williamson could fall very much in the same category, although with even more games than Kyrie ever played. So my point is, if we're in this kind of situation where a college athlete can be playing in college, they can be a very, very high draft pick, a projected draft pick at least, and then get hurt and never have to step on the floor again, and they've already proven themselves, then they shouldn't even be there in the first place. And I don't understand why this is even a thing. I don't understand why people are being prevented from making money either off their likeness, off their name, or just the ability to be paid as one of the 30 or 40 most valuable basketball players in the world. I understand that there are competitive balance issues. I understand that there are financial issues. I understand that there are certain constraints placed on these players that are incredibly dissimilar from any other marketplace really that we have in any other business, and I understand the reasons for that. But just strictly from in a vacuum standpoint, there's no reason for Zion Williamson or any other elite college athlete to be playing in college when they should already be playing at the professional level, at the highest level of basketball they possibly could. This standard, this rule does not exist in any other industry, and it continues to baffle me. One, how it's still a thing, and two, how people can argue against it. And hopefully this is an event that will actually spring some sort of positive change in that direction, because again, if this has been a much more severe injury, I think the reaction from the league and from the NCAA could be a lot stronger than what I'm anticipating it ending up being. But hopefully moving forward at some point, the one and done rule goes away. If guys straight out of high school think they're good enough and they think they're going to be drafted at some point in the first or second round, then they should be able to just go straight to the NBA and live with whatever mistakes they make if that happens. It's not on the NBA, it's not on the NCAA to try and prevent these guys from making what they see as a mistake, and that's a bogus reason for them to want to do this anyway, and for them to want to institute a one and done rule anyway. The fact that they're even pretending that that is their motivation to try and protect these guys from being drafted or going undrafted and ruining their careers is stupid. That's not even the case. But the point is, it shouldn't exist anymore. Zion Williamson's situation is a great example of that, and hopefully it goes away soon. And at the end of all this, like I said, it doesn't seem like the injury is going to be especially severe, but this is going to serve as a cautionary tale, like I said, not only to the NBA and the NCAA, but also to future elite college athletes in any sport. It may not be worth it to play in college. Maybe you should just take a whole year off. You should train. You should get your body right. You should just work out for NBA teams and don't even play in college. Now, I love college basketball as a spectacle. It's extremely entertaining, so I don't want to make it sound like the entire thing should just be thrown away. But for some of these guys, they are so valuable. Their basketball skills, who they are as people, the skills that they've honed, they have incredible financial value, and they should be invested in properly. They shouldn't just be throwing that away for something that they're really only going to get a year's worth out of in that 1 year in college for most of them. So that really should be the cautionary tale to many college athletes moving forward, is just to understand your own value, understand financially what you could possibly be giving up by playing in college, and to don't just do things just because that's the way they've always been done. It doesn't make any sense to just continually go to college if you're an elite athlete and risk injury. You might as well just work out. You might as well just, work out for NBA teams during the offseason leading up to the draft. College, in terms of being at the top of the NBA draft, is not incredibly important in my opinion. But with that incredibly long-winded rant video out of the way, that is going to be the end of today's emergency video. Once again, my name is Tucker. If you missed any of my previous videos, then be sure to check out the boxes on screen. Thanks again, and I'll see you all next time.